Either way, we can talk about it. I think, like one area from the end.
We could wait till you both finish it.
I have beaten it. Well, I don't know what counts as beating the game.
You have beaten your first playthrough.
I have a clear save.
Who's got the air horn sound effect?
Happy
Happy Prime Day! Is that are we excited for Prime Day?
The workers at Amazon warehouses sure aren't.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess by the time this airs, Prime Day will have been completed. But it's been okay. It's been an okay one. But I'm bringing it up. I have a very specific reason. Guys, we're going to do this live on episode 16. What number is it?
Got him. I think it's 164?
3 or 4?
I think. Are we past that?
I don't know. Are we 164 bit? It doesn't matter. And Apple
right
wants it
about
to
that.
not matter even more because now they double number them for some reason. I don't get it. Blame Apple.
Blame Canada.
Don't blame Canada. Canada got us our best Instagram ever.
It is 164.
Okay, this is 164. Prime Day is here. You guys, Joy-Cons are on sale for $10 off ish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Switch console for normal price plus a free $35 gift card.
Well, by then this will be over. However, you can help me pick colors for my Joy-Cons because I think I should get a second set.
I mean, that would be a good plan if you maybe brought your Switch and we played, let's say, Super Mario Party, a game I own.
Or Mario Kart, a game I own. So we should get
game.
some. Well, you
There
have
we go.
extra Joy-Cons technically because you have a Switch.
True, yeah, fair enough. That is very true.
But if we don't want to repair your Joy-Cons, it's time to get some here.
Yeah.
Anywho, I have a gray Switch, which means I have gray Joy-Cons. Neon pink and neon green are available. So are neon blue and neon red. And I believe neon yellow do not count for the Prime Day
Discount.
Yeah. What are we feeling? It's tough, right? I just would normally go for the red and blue.
I was going to say that's my leaning because I like the classic quote unquote Switch colors, that
Sure.
like blue and red color scheme.
But that leaves me with 2 grays still. Right.
Yeah.
So then I've got 3 colors instead of 4 colors. And that just is off.
Well, but the other ones are 2 separate colors also, right? It's like pink and whatever.
Correct. So it's either
Pink and green.
It's either pink and green or red and blue or stick with gray. And I have 4
You can
gray
get gray also.
Could get gray, yes.
Oh, so you'd have a
Oh,
matched
okay.
set. Okay.
See, this is why we're doing this on the pod, because I can't choose. JJ, what color are yours?
Mine are gray.
Oh, that makes it even worse, because then I would be like, oh, yours are red and blue, then we can't have red and blue. I'll have all the gray ones. Which means, Michael, I'm sorry, but when you get a Switch, you'll have to have neon green and pink.
Well, I was going to get the red and blue.
Got it. I'm at a loss. I don't know. But if you tell me a reason of why a certain color, I will buy it right here live on this podcast.
I love exerting control over others, so I will say that I really, that red and blue color is a classic. It's always good to have ways to differentiate your various controllers apart. And they are not like the inferior knockoff brand controller, which is also very important.
Yeah, for real, especially for these. I've heard some horror stories about the Bluetooth and the knockoffs.
So that's my opinion there. And then if you're playing with other people or children or whatever, then they have a fun colored one that they can hold.
I see. Okay.
That's my reasoning there.
Okay. Blam, bot. Oh, they're not going to arrive in time for Comic-Con. We're going to have to repair yours.
No, not at this point. All the same day, next day shipping stuff, I think, happened pretty early.
Yeah, these are in stock on July 25th.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll be an August situation.
We'll have them in time for BlizzCon.
Hey,
In the meantime, can I interest you guys in some hot 2DS bundles?
Say what?
I bet
They have a bunch of 2DS bundles
For
on
Prime Day?
Prime Day, yeah.
Where? 2DS bundle. I gotta know.
But I mean, what? Do you want another 2DS? Do you have a 2DS?
No, I don't have a 2DS. I want that Zelda 2DS. If it's in a bundle.
You can interest me in deep discounts on 2DS/3DS software, but
right, that's
not
what
hardware.
I mean. If he says it's a bundle and it comes with a bunch of software I don't have.
If the bundle is buy hardware and get soft, I'm not interested.
But it's a 2DS hardware. You don't have a 2DS.
It's the same thing, my man.
It's not.
Slide that slider down to 3D off, and it is the same.
It's actually strictly worse because there's no clamshell. So,
Right.
Yeah, you're really unselling me on it here.
wait, hold on. They have 2DS XLs that are clamshells.
Uh-oh.
So where are these bundles, man? I don't see any bundles.
I absolutely saw bundles earlier. Maybe they're gone. Maybe they were
maybe they're gone.
a limited thing.
Maybe they're arriving on July 25th.
Maybe they're not here yet.
All right. Don't forget your Joy-Cons when we go to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Forced transition.
Love it.
We're going to go to Comic-Con. That's starting the day this records. I believe all of us will arrive the day after.
You hear this.
Yeah, the day you hear this, we'll be driving or living nearby.
Yeah.
Yep.
And let's talk about some pre-Comic-Con stuff for a second. Last year, we had kind of a different experience with maybe the most sought-after thing at Comic-Con. The most... the thing that people ask you about when they know about Comic-Con. Like, when people don't know about Comic-Con, they're like, do you dress up?
Yes, right. That is the first question I always get.
Right? So that's the people outside of it that have never been there. And the people that have been like 2 times or know people that go regularly, the other question is, what are the exclusives this year? Most years, the exclusives are waiting in line for something. Recently, we've talked on this podcast about the new exclusives system, which is, JJ called it a
cough.
Oh, yeah. All right. JJ called it the most democratic way, which it was until this year.
I mean, I don't know. It's still democratic. It's just like electoral college representation or something
now
terrible.
We've moved to republic from democratic.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, it's a republic now.
Yeah, now it's a republic. We all have caste.
My political theory is low. My score is low there, so yeah.
It should be getting higher from Civ 6. How's Civ 6?
Oh man, transition.
No, I don't know which one to do.
We're making hard turns tonight, JJ.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Canada, I started playing Civilization 6 Gathering Storm, which I bought in the waning days of the Steam sale because I had a $5 credit burning a hole in my pocket.
What did that make the expansion?
It was on sale for like 10 or 20% off or something, and -5, and it was already 30, so it was like under $20. After all my credit and whatnot, so
nice.
I considered that a worthy purchase for a game I will probably play for 100 hours or something.
Sure.
Over the course of my life, because that's how long Civ games take. And I booted up. I played a full standard length game as Eleanor of Aquitaine.
Okay.
Who is a character from history who was both a ruler in France, and then later her husband died and remarried to a ruler in England.
Ooh.
So she can play both as either her English version or French version, and has different units and different powers under the two. Her leader bonus is the same in both cases, but has different stuff whether you're playing as France or England.
Okay.
English flavor stuff or France flavor stuff.
France flavor.
It was pretty like France. You can build a chateau, which gives
Royale with
culture.
cheese flavor.
Yeah, and then the English one, you get a unique naval unit, and I forget the other thing. So it was really fun. The new thing in this expansion, the Gathering Storm, is as the name may imply, there are natural disasters that they have added.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have, not necessarily implied by the name, but they have fleshed out the diplomacy system a bunch.
I have heard some positive things and some negative things about this.
As it goes with Civ expansions. Not everyone likes all the changes.
Okay.
I think the natural disasters so far, there's like a slider when you start the game for like how frequent and devastating you want them to be. You can set it from like, hey, they don't occur, to like they occur a little bit and aren't that bad. And if you set, it's like 1 to 5, right? If you set it on 4 and 5, the range that can be affected is increased, and the damage they do is bigger, and they last longer. They're pretty interesting. They have both drawbacks and bonuses. So like if the river floods and floods out your tile, it might damage or potentially destroy some of the improvements you have based around that river. But those tiles then gain production or gain yields, like, they produce more food or something like that in years after the flood subsides. So there's pluses and minuses there. You can also research technologies and build buildings that are like, it's a dam on this river such that now it never floods. But however, now when a flood would happen, you don't get any bonuses. So like, pluses and minuses, right? Mm-hmm. There are like stuff like volcanic eruptions and sandstorms coming out of the deserts and blizzards. All these things generally will like damage your tiles, but have the chance to also make the tiles slightly better. So that stuff is all interesting. As the game plays on, they've introduced this concept of powering various improvements and things in your cities. So like if you want to run the workshop in your industrial district, you need power. And to get power, you can do things like burn coal or oil or, nuclear reactors if you've researched that technology for uranium, these sorts of things. They generate power, but they also generate CO2.
Can you choose whether or not to use RBMK reactors?
Not yet. I haven't seen that tech.
Okay.
I didn't get all the way to the end of the tech tree, so, who can say?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you advice based on watching that HBO show. Don't use RBMK reactors.
Maybe not a good plan?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I know nuclear tech, like fission and then later fusion, are on the tech tree. So
I mean, those things are relatively safe. Just,
not the one from Chernobyl, huh?
Don't tip your control rods with graphite.
Makes sense.
I always say that.
Well, congratulations on naming the podcast.
And so it's been, and the CO2 is compiled globally. So not just what you and your civilization produces.
I see. This is a
but
propaganda
what all civilizations
game.
are doing.
See. And your Civ gets bonus for buying electric cars?
No.
Oh.
Captain Trade.
As the CO2 levels, as the CO2 levels globally rise, the water where the ocean is rises and potentially floods tiles, destroying them forever.
How can it flood tiles, man? All that stuff would just run off the sides because the Earth is flat.
Oh, see, that's a good point.
Yeah, see, this game is whack.
However,
it proves to you it's flat.
The game also tells
flat.
It doesn't have to be. You can have curved monitors these days.
Oh my God, the world is a ring world?
We're living on a Halo.
Oh my God.
It's a Dyson sphere, you guys. Come on.
I see. That makes more sense, actually.
Wow, that was like very deeply nerdy.
We appreciated it.
But the game tells you, even in like the prehistoric era, if you're settling near the coast, hey, this tile is the first one that's going to be destroyed. This one is later, and these ones will be the last or whatever. Huh. So you have advanced knowledge of like, hey, this one isn't gonna be bad for this tile later.
Do you only get the advanced knowledge once you get satellites, basically?
No, you get it from the first time you try to settle a city. So like the prehistoric era settler, if you use the view, it knows.
Knows that we're not going to be able to control our carbon emissions in 60,000 years.
Or you can do what I did in that particular game and win in like, 1400 AD and obviate the entire need because who cares?
Okay, wait. When you win in 1400, that's military, right?
I won via religion.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The religion stuff was added in the second expansion, Rise and Fall, I believe. And in order to win via religion, you just have to convert the majority of cities in the world, or the majority of cities in every empire to your religion.
Okay, that makes okay. I had to parse that for a second.
You have to get every empire has to follow
based.
you. Yes, it's not population based anymore. Thank God, because it can be very hard to convert like a town of 30 citizens or whatever to majority your people.
Right.
So yeah, but so that was that game, and then I started a new game on a longer game length, playing as William Laurie, I think I'm saying it right, of Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada. And their unique improvement is an ice hockey rink, and their unique unit is the Mountie.
Yes,
because of course it is.
Of course it
and
is.
also their unique like civilization trait is that you can never declare a surprise war on them because you're too nice and no one would be mean to you like that or something. It was very funny and like extremely stereotypical. And I'm only in like the Bronze Age in that game, so I don't have access to any of that stuff yet.
Wonderful. Well, how's the new diplomacy, though?
The new diplomacy is really interesting. I don't think I have grasped all the ways the system works yet, because there's a new currency called diplomatic favor that you essentially earn over time, or by you can trade it among the various leaders or whatever to get stuff that you want. It's like, oh, they have access to a resource that I want. Normally you would trade them like, oh, I'll trade you this luxury resource, they'll trade me that one, kind of a thing.
Right.
Well, now you can trade them a bunch of diplomatic favor instead, and you have essentially given up only that and gained the luxury resource in return. However, they can then spend the diplomatic favor at various points. At some point, you can start spending it to win or to get points towards a diplomatic victory. I didn't see that in that game, again, because 1400 AD got there pretty quick.
Sure.
But you can also spend it on votes, essentially, that happen at the World Congress. And the World Congress just has these sort of generic, like, hey, this civilization wants to do this. And you can say, oh, I want to ban anyone from using this resource because, like, obviously a bunch of my opponents have it. Or I want to make this resource worth double. And you can vote yes or no and who it targets. And then you can use diplomatic favor to buy additional votes.
Oh.
So by default, you get one, right? It's like a thumbs up or thumbs down. And then every time you want to vote again, you have to pay 10, I think. And so then, but it also doesn't stop any of the other civs from also doing that. So, you know, you can vote yourself up 10 times, and then some other civ could vote themselves up 11 times, and then you both lose, you know? So it's an interesting system. I'm not quite sure how the AI plays it every time.
The problem, and one thing that people have complained about in Civ, even in Civ 5, which is great, diplomacy is X plus Y equals Z every time.
Yeah.
You always know what a Civ will do, pretty much. Still the case?
So in Civ 6, they added these agendas for each leader, and each leader has a public agenda and then like a private agenda.
They had that in launch, though, right?
Yes, yeah, this was in launch, which was sort of supposed to tell you how they were going to act, right? That's not exactly like always how it works, but generally I've found the civs to be at least in this voting stuff, they are generally voting in their interest or the interest of their allies pretty directly almost every time, which is in comparison to how they interact with you when you go into the trade screen or whatever. They may be getting mad at you for doing stuff that you weren't intending or whatever. They also have changed the way you can declare wars on people, or they've added these things called grievances. And I forget what the reverse of them is, but basically they're like reasons to go to war against someone. And if you have a bunch of grievances against the person you're going to war against, people won't get mad at you for declaring wars. Because everyone's like, oh, they deserved this.
That's an improvement.
Yes. Okay. So, for instance, I was sending my priests over into this other civilization, converting all their towns. He told me, hey, you better stop doing this. I want you to promise to stop doing it. And I said, no, I'm not going to promise that. And then he was like, this is, you will pay for this or whatever, and then obtained 100 grievances against me. And then, like 10 turns later or whatever, there was a national emergency session of the Congress declared, and then he and a bunch of people voted against me to ban me from doing stuff that I was doing, right? And then, maybe 10 turns after that, after I'd gone back and converted, as I started converting more of his cities after that, he was earning additional grievances, right? It was showing it. He earned 10 for you converting this city. He earned 10 for you converting this city. And then at some point, he and a bunch of people all declared war on me all at once. And it was like, well, I earned this. So that was an interesting way to get an insight into like, hey, the AI is like getting bad at you now. And then you can do stuff like trade diplomatic favor to them to remove grievances, or trade it to them to like improve your relationship with them, rather than just giving them free resources or whatever, which is
what you used to have to do.
Right. So it'd be like, oh, okay, I have to take a hit to my amenities or my like my gold or whatever, like my economy, in order to improve my diplomatic relation with these people. Now you use this diplomatic currency to do that as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't messed around with it a ton, only because the religious victory happened early. And so far in this Canadian playthrough, I started in not a great spot, and there are a lot of barbarians, so it's been tough.
Do diplomacy with them.
Yeah, the barbarians don't really listen to diplomacy. It's kind of unfortunate. So, we'll see. I founded Toronto and Montreal in addition to Ottawa, so we're in there.
Amongst those North American barbarians.
In Civ, the barbarians are just everywhere.
That's true.
So, yeah, it's been really good. I'm looking forward to playing more of that.
Nice. That's cool. I'm still waiting for that Game of the Year edition. Do we think this is the last expansion?
I'm trying to remember how many expansions Civ 5 got.
2, technically, I think.
Yeah. So then,
like a short mini thing to start with that was free.
I would imagine they're going to do the same number.
Okay. Sweet. All right. We were doing Comic-Con exclusives. Well, we aren't doing Comic-Con exclusives. Just a spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay. So people ask us, what are the exclusives? And last year,
I mean, we know what they are. The problem is we can't get them.
Sure. Last year was kind of like, oh, maybe this new portal system actually works out. Amongst a large group of people, it's easy enough to get into the things where so there's an online portal. You select what you're interested in, and you say, please put me in the raffle for this thing. I'd like to get in line to pay somebody money. Last year,
not, as the case may be.
Or
That's
not,
about right.
I guess, yeah. Last year, amongst us, we were able to trade and barter and get all the things we needed, right? I mean, Michael got all his Legos. We got a few other things we were interested in, some stuff from Hasbro, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, either people figured out how to use the portal, or they changed the system a little bit, or somebody out there figured out how to game the system a little bit better, because we have not got access to much of anything.
Yeah, I think I only got one. I was selected for multiple things last year, and this year I was selected for one thing.
Amongst my family,
number of us got
one
nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and in the past, I understand if we got selected for nothing and all we had signed up for were the signings and stuff, because those are like super limited. I think they cap them at like 100 people or something.
Yeah,
and they were always super hard to get into. Like, even for the dedicated people before, it was never very easy to get any of those signings. But stuff that has generally in the past been somewhat accessible now just seems like like no one has it. Who got them? I don't know.
Yeah, at least in the past, if somebody we knew didn't get them, somebody else we knew did, right?
Yeah. The only person I know who got selected for multiple things was a coworker of mine, and he used all of his tickets on a single entry item for each day. That was it.
So that's how I did mine.
And you got
didn't friend Ken get to?
Friend Ken did get 2. Friendopod got 2.
Okay.
I believe.
I did not remember that. So those are the only 2 people I know.
Well, but Michael, you put all yours in for one thing on each day, and how did that turn out?
I got 1 as well.
You got 1 total.
So it was 1 total. Interestingly, my the wife and I did opposite. So I did everything in one slot each day, and she spread hers out.
She did the spread, which was the strategy last year.
We wound up with the same result. We each got 1.
Ugh.
Yeah.
For whatever our sample size of 2 is worth.
No, well, our sample size is actually quite a bit larger than you'd think, and it's not good. If the opportunity to get the things, which is silly, right? Because it's a consumerist construct of being able to like pay somebody money for something that has a sticker on it.
For the ones that cost money, it doesn't make sense, I think. But for the ones that are free, I can understand it a little better.
Sure. But not many of them are free. Just the signings, right? Is basically it. And some of the signings are still extremely get there at 5 a.m. and get in line. It hasn't changed. That's not required to go through the system. It's only like Fox that decided, okay, well, we'll put all our signings on the system so we don't have the giant crowd on the floor anymore.
Fox, HBO, and Warner Brothers did it. But there's still a ton that won't be there, and they'll just be giant crowds.
Yep. And apparently you can back out of the exclusive system too, as we saw with Lego this year.
Yeah, they're not doing the minifigures on the system anymore?
Oh,
no. Minifigs have gone back to the old school, get in line and,
hit the button and
iPad.
hope.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you win. Can you get back in line?
You can get back in line, but the line is so long by the time they start that they will run out before you get back to the front.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you get 1 tap. So gather a lot of your friends if you want one.
So I have from one of my coworkers who is very into doing all this stuff for eBay money.
Oh,
maybe
the dreaded reseller.
If you really want to get those minifigures and you're willing to pay for them, but you don't want to pay the prices they're going for on eBay, which are substantial.
Mm-hmm.
What if you stood near the end of that line with $100, let's say?
I did that last year.
To every person that comes out and says, I will give you this money for this minifigure.
Yep.
I suspect that you would eventually get a taker relatively quickly.
Yeah, I did that for one of them last year.
Wow.
So I chose the number $100 randomly. By the way, I have no idea how much you would actually have to pay.
Well, if you want
to
pre-sale a Lego Barb from the Stranger Things Comic-Con exclusive, $350 is the current going ask.
I wasn't going to put it out there, but yes, they have been going for that much pre-sale.
That makes me sick in my mouth.
That's also one of those things that's a dicey thing to bid on because there's no guarantee that the person putting up the listing will get it.
Sure, but still, that makes me sick in my mouth.
At least the people who are reselling the exclusive portal slot stuff can be relatively assured that they will get the thing that they signed up for.
Relatively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 90% or whatever, assuming that they can bother to get there in time and stand in line.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
And pay the initial entrance cost or whatever.
Yeah.
So at least those are somewhat guaranteed. The minifigure stuff is just FFA, dude. I don't know how anyone has a chance.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That is obviously a choice for people who, Michael or others really care about them and want to make sure they get all the best stuff.
So does your brain remember, Michael, how early you had to get in line to do these minifigures?
So that's interesting. The minifigs were always in the middle of the day.
Oh.
And I have a feeling they will probably leave them there rather than dealing with the chaos of the morning.
All right.
It makes it a little more fair to do the afternoon one because there are instances in the morning where if you get there early enough and you're one of the first people let in, you can go through the line and then get right back in it because it still they haven't let in enough people for the line to back up yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it a little more of a level playing field when they do it in the afternoon.
This also then allows them to move it outside like they have in the past, right?
Yes, I'm absolutely sure. Well, the minifigs never moved. They were always outside, even under last year's exclusives lottery.
Oh, okay.
Yikes. I don't, this did not leave a good taste in my mouth at all. The price of tickets, I saw something interesting. The price of tickets in general for Comic-Con. This is the 50th anniversary. The price of tickets... Yeah, happy birthday, Comic-Con. The price of tickets for Comic-Con for 3 days was, I think, $20 total.
3 days?
Yeah, I think it was originally a 3-day con.
You mean the first Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
I think it was $20 total. If I remember, I'm trying to remember something off the top of my head, which of course is a bad idea because I'll get it close to wrong. But no, it was less than that. It had to have been less than that because you could have bought 10 gallons of gas, and gas was not $2 a gallon. $2 a gallon. So this is what, 50 years ago? 50 years ago, gas would have been much cheaper. So. Oh, I remember it now. Okay. You ready?
Go.
All right. So you could have gone to Comic-Con for all the days for 10 gallons of gas back then. The average price of a daily ticket, if they had stayed the same with inflation, would be $20 a day now. And what did we pay? $50 a day? Maybe more?
Yeah. Something, I forget. Yeah, something like that. The total is over 300, right?
Yeah.
If you get preview night.
Yep.
So, how does that feel?
I mean,
I guess
popularity and
offer more
rarity.
Services. Rarity, yeah. Okay.
Or not rarity, but like literally physically limited space.
Yeah.
I don't know how you square that with the fact that every year it seems to be more popular, despite the fact that there are some years like last year where like it kind of felt like a real down year. Doesn't seem like that'll be the case this year, but
right. Well, it does seem like the case this year. We've got exclusives, which everyone seems to be upset about now instead of generally happy with last year, and no TV or movies to speak of, maybe.
I feel like that's a little bit of bias on our parts, though, where like we were happy last year because a bunch of us got stuff, and we're not happy this year because a bunch of us didn't get stuff.
I think we were in the minority last year. From what I heard from some larger sample sizes, a lot of people got nothing or only one thing last year.
Yeah, same. I heard that from a lot of my coworkers as well. So, I don't know how...
Well, last year they didn't have the point system, right?
Yeah.
And either we played the point system wrong, but it doesn't seem like that because you guys... Michael and Laura did them different ways. Seems like...
I mean, it's... Random chance is still random chance, at some level.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers made the point to me that if you are purely playing the odds, what the correct math would have been to dump all your points in one thing, because a higher... Like, more tickets in a random drawing is better than one ticket in a bunch of different drawings because the way probability adds together. If you're just looking for an outcome of any wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Assuming that they have generally equal amounts of entrants, which is not the case, right?
Right. So that's what skews that math.
That's because you take the money aspect out of it because there's math behind.
Totally. Like
not
how much
buying
stuff
more
costs.
than one lottery ticket because your cash return is less per dollar spent.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, there's all those kinds of considerations as well. But he was just saying, if your only goal is to win something off the exclusives portal, you should dump all your tickets for every day into one thing. That was what he thought. And then his strategy, I guess, which because it's who knows, is to pick stuff later in the day because he thought people would be more likely to be interested in the stuff earliest in the morning.
With making
Whether that's true.
That is true because schedule. That's why I'm worried about the Lego minifigures being in the middle of the day. Is because oh, okay, cool. So this year there aren't a lot of movies and TV, so a lot of cool panels have showed up at this con, like panels from NASA and because it's the 50th anniversary of Apollo. There's a lot of going on at this con that is like they clearly had extra space for cool panels to show up again, rather than like, where can we squeeze this obscure CBS show that nobody cares about? You know?
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily to say that there isn't stuff there this year. I mean, Marvel Studios is here, and they're announcing a slate of movies, probably. So that's like pretty high profile, relatively, right? But, you know, I do agree with you that there's tons of way more interesting panels this year than I think I've seen in the last several years. Like, either the person organizing their panels like did a way better, more interesting, varied job, or they got someone new for that position, or a bunch of the old people decided we don't want to do it anymore. I'm not sure which, but there's a lot of cool stuff out there this year.
I'm going to be very curious to see when we record. This is an announcement. When we record an episode at Comic-Con, like we do every year, actually. So far.
Yeah, thus far.
What our reactions are going to be. It's going to be interesting. What day is that Lego minifig line that I need to be in? Thursday?
I believe that the Barb line is on Friday.
I think.
Okay, so
I think Spider-Man is Thursday.
Hopefully we record after Friday, because then I'll be extra salty for an episode.
Yeah. I think I will try and wait with you in that line, and I'm planning to have the salt shaker on hand.
Yeah, we'll probably wind up in all three of the minifig lines, so maybe we'll record from the line.
Ooh.
All three? Aren't there four?
There are only three.
Three minifigures. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, and then Sunday, if they do it, it's spillover.
How do you have spillover?
They have seemed to have extras every year. I don't know if they hold some back or what. But
spillover on the exclusives makes sense, especially given the new portal. You have to show up and buy them, and if you don't, they have extra.
Right.
The other thing makes no sense to me. It's a raffle. Give them all away.
So here's my question. As a person with a Sunday slot to purchase Lego exclusives,
you should take that slot because you will get extra things offered to you.
Well, I absolutely will be taking it. But my question is more that, like, when you say offered to me, are they going to literally be like, hey, also, would you like to buy these?
That's what they did to us last year.
Or is it going to be like, hey, would you?
Nope. That's what they did to us last year.
Okay. Were you the first slot on Sunday morning, or were you later in the day?
We were the first slot, and we convinced them because they were doing that sale, I think, to other people. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember.
Didn't you have to leave early, and so you convinced them to let you go ahead and buy one because they were planning on opening them anyway?
Yes. But anyway, if you have a slot on Sunday in general, I think that you will get offered leftovers.
Yes.
Okay. Well, my plan is to take advantage of that if it's offered to me. Or, well, I'm going to ask regardless. So.
Yeah, definitely ask.
All right. So, Comic-Con episode forthcoming. Probably after we get back from con, since I will not edit it there. I have no time for that.
No. And I just want to say, like, I know we talked about the panels a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of stuff I kind of want to see this year, which is in, like, kind of stark opposition to how it has been in previous years.
I have not been to panels for years. And now I've got a full slate of panels that I want to do.
It's been 2 or 3 years since I went to a panel, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I kind of think like I'm certainly not going to be able to get into all of them because I assume there will be lines associated that I don't want to deal with. But I will definitely be able to get to some of them because I will have time, right? Or I will have made time. And I'm curious. It's going to be, I'm not sure how it's going to go. I need to get the map of the halls again to see which rooms are bigger and smaller than other ones because I have completely forgotten. Is like 5A a big one, or is like 6A or 25? I don't remember how the size of any of these rooms. So,
right. Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool to compare and do schedules again. Like, hey, what's everyone doing now? You know?
Yeah.
Right on. Well, because we had such a great transition to Comic-Con and Civ 6, and we missed another transition that I could have done. You know what you can't use Joy-Cons with, you guys?
What's that?
Well, that's not true. That's a misnomer. You know what you can't slide your Joy-Cons into, JJ?
No, I'm not sure where this is going.
The
Yeah. Okay. You're right that was not a good phrase, but Michael got where I was going with it. The new Switch
The new
Lite.
Switch Lite.
Ah, yes.
My red and blue Joy-Cons will not work with the new Switch Lite. Switch Mini? What are they calling it?
They're calling it the Switch Lite.
Switch Lite. Is it LIT?
Yes.
E.
Why are we still doing that?
What if you took a Switch
I know.
and
Hold on.
made
No,
the
no, no, no.
idea
Just
that it doesn't switch anymore?
yes.
It's literally this. The
The
whole thing
Ninten-
about it being able to switch from your TV
I'm
to your
changing the name of it. It's called the Nintendo-NO Switch.
Yeah, dude. What?
Nintend-NO Switch.
Why do this? My mind exploding.
No, let's talk
Either
about
this is
how
some,
it
like,
has a
quadruple
smaller
level
screen.
Galaxy brain.
Smaller screen.
Smaller screen and lower resolution screen.
Lower
Is it
resolution
small?
screen.
I thought it was I thought the screen itself was a hair bigger.
It's still 720.
Smaller.
No, it's 0.7 inches smaller diagonally and still 720p with
Okay.
less pixel density.
Okay. Yeah, that part I knew.
It's just
720p
all
is
around
fine,
worse.
but
Yeah,
pixel density
720p
is a
totally
problem.
fine. The pixel density being lower is bad.
Let me
Given
tell you
that
something else about that screen that's really bad. No brightness control.
So I heard that it is no automatic brightness control, which is different than none at all.
Okay.
Okay,
That's a big difference.
That's at least salvageable.
I don't know if that means there's like a slider or a wheel on the side or whatever.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
As a person that has never played my Switch docked, aka maybe the person that this is designed for, I don't want it.
It has a D-pad though, which I am
True.
honestly very angry about because, spoiler alert, I've been playing Mario Maker still, and wow, the D-pad is bad on the Joy-Cons.
Yeah. How is
Don't
Mario
do
Maker?
that. It's great. I really like that game.
You've been sitting with it 2 weeks now, so
Yeah. I've been using my Pro controller mostly because it has a D-pad,
Yeah,
and
mushy one,
I
though.
want. Yeah, not a good one. And I wanted to try it with the Joy-Cons to see if it felt better. No, it's much worse
okay.
because
And
they're
the
four
touchscreen
discrete
bad?
buttons. The touchscreen is fine, but you can only use it to like make levels. You would never use it to play,
Okay.
Yeah.
or you can't use it to play. It's only for making. And
Well,
I haven't made any levels still because I'm
Two-
not creative.
2 weeks into this, is it what we thought? Is it going to be the thing that everyone needs to have for their system? You know, like everyone with a Wii U had Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I would have argued that everyone should have had Mario Maker 1.
Oh,
Maybe,
okay.
but
Okay, but yes.
it
Yes.
should have. Whether it should have or
But
did,
Mario Maker 1 came out late in the life cycle of the system.
That's
Mario
true.
Kart 8 came out early.
Yeah.
Super Smash on the Wii U was ignored. So I was trying to think of like the quintessential what everyone had. Is it going to be that, or is it going to be something else for the Wii?
I mean, the answer
Or
for
the,
this
Switch.
for the Switch, the answer for this or the Switch is going to be Smash Ultimate because I seem like that's still the highest selling thing. That and like Breath of the Wild. But if you like playing Mario games, you should probably get this.
Okay.
I have heard from people who know more about this than me that the physics in each of the various modes are not exactly accurate. So if you really, really care, it's not the same as Super Mario World or Mario 1 or Mario 3 or whatever. But also, since it adds a bunch of stuff that was never possible in those games, like you can have low gravity levels. You can do all kinds of weird, crazy stuff. And the game is just fun. It's just fun to run around and play Mario levels. I turn it on, not every night, but some nights, and play a few levels in either endless or like, what's popular this week, and like play some of the levels. It's really cool. And, just like there's endless levels out there. You just keep hitting refresh and getting different stuff and then dying because a guy just put 1 million Koopas or whatever on the first screen.
Because you forgot to uncheck Kaizo.
No, you wish there were filters like Kaizo. There are not. The filtering and sorting stuff is still a problem. But at least generally if you use the tag like short and sweet, you're going to get levels that are shorter rather than longer meandering puzzles. So,
all right. I wish
the D-pad's still bad though.
I wish that this Switch was called the Switch Kids or something like that. Because my fingers can't handle a smaller Switch, which this is. I'm already cramping up with I love playing my Switch handheld, but even then after like an hour or two, it's tough on your fingers.
And if you're playing with a single Joy-Con, like, dude, those are really small.
Yeah. This is a Switch Kids, basically, right? I mean, it's got to be like, this is the predecessor to then refreshing with a Switch XL for next Christmas, not this Christmas, right?
I don't necessarily see it as focused on kids, but I do see it focused on like, hey, this is the second Switch for your household.
Okay, but it can't dock.
Right. It's impossible to dock. Not only like it's not good at it or something.
There's no connection.
Unable to do it.
Yeah.
Boggles my mind.
Ugh.
But, look, people are going to buy this because there are people, like you, Andrew, and other people who only play it as a handheld.
Yeah.
Or only would play it as a handheld.
Yeah.
And it being smaller is actually an asset in that case because this thing is pretty big. Like, trying to take it in a case of some sort and around, you have to be wearing some really big pants to fit that in.
Yeah, it's definitely like a backpack scenario. And, you know, they're launching it right. They have that red and blue and gray one coming along with Pokemon Sword. And it looks like, I'm jealous of how it looks. It's got a D-pad and it looks cool. And I'm like, come on, I want a bigger version. Like, give me a Switch XL. I don't care that I need a backpack. I take one with me anyway.
Yeah, I think at some point I don't know. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me.
They're going to sell a lot of them.
And I think that is the biggest thing more than like targeting it at kids is it's targeting it at a lower price point demographic.
$200.
Yeah, 200 is just so easy compared to 300.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I like the Switch a lot, and the games on the Switch are good. So frankly, if you don't have a Switch and you want to play like me, just handheld, maybe this is good. I don't know how people with bigger hands are going to do it, though. I just can't imagine. But something with 6 hours of battery life, because it has more battery life than the current Switch, which you can do with a smaller screen and no docking hardware, right? Like, the Joy-Cons don't come off, the screen is smaller.
And in theory, they have gotten a next rev up of the processor. Not more powerful, but like usually...
Power efficiency.
More power efficiency refinements, yeah. So you save power there, you save power in the various other components that you can shrink or whatever.
So it leaves me thinking, it's not bad, it's just maybe not for me.
Yeah, I'm super with you right there. I agree they're probably going to sell 1 billion of these. I just don't. I don't get it. As a person who plays almost exclusively docked, they're like, well, you're taking away the thing I like.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird that there's no like dongle. Even if you don't get the the dock upgrades the power so that you can play at higher frames per second or whatever in the current Switch and higher resolution.
I think actually the dock just lets it expend more power. Like it's charging the battery constantly, so it can run off the AC or off the AC power rather than internal power. Mm-hmm. So they don't bother safeguarding against using too much power. That's literally all it does.
Okay, well it's still
which then has the result of it
unleash
runs
the beast
faster.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's even without that upgrade of having the dock power. Weird that you can't here's a $15 adapter if you really want to plug into a TV for some reason. Yeah, you can still pair to it. You can still pair Joy-Cons to it.
And it's USB-C charging still. So they have the port at the bottom just like the current one does. It's the same port. Mm-hmm. You could just add a dongle that says hey man, here's this tiny little box that you would plug into this USB port that then you plug your HDMI cable into it and now all of a sudden you get, video out.
Yeah, no rumble, but who cares?
I like the rumble, but yeah, I'm with you. Who cares?
I don't mind the rumble. I have mine on, even though I guess I could turn it off and save battery. But anyway, anything else on the Switch Lite? It comes in cool colors.
And at least one exclusive variant already.
Yeah, the Pokemon one looks good.
Yeah.
I think what this really means is that there will now be 0 games going forward that use HD Rumble. There will be 0 games going forward that use whatever this IR sensor that's on it is for that no one has ever used.
Really?
There will be 0 games going forward that has some reason to use the kickstand, which there already isn't any.
1-2 Switch and Mario Party.
And there will be very, very few, if any, games going forward that make you use a single Joy-Con because this can't do that. So
Oof.
it's going to be all those things may as well not exist because you want to hit every system, right?
I've changed my mind again. I hate this.
Well, I mean, I feel like with the Rumble, you could probably still have it do both ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible it has a like non-HD rumble or whatever, so you can get some kind of vibration out of this thing. I don't know.
It doesn't have any rumble.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if they can code in for you to turn Rumble on and off in a system, they can code it in to automatically detect what kind of switch it's in and turn itself off.
Of course, they can do that, right?
Well, I mean, just if
my
it has
issue is that
rumble
they're not
on
going
the cart,
to.
It's just not going to work. So
My issue is that they're just not going to devote any development time to making that a feature when they could just not develop Rumble at all.
Gotcha.
And produce the same product for everyone, right? It's like a savings cost thing. So
I guess.
Which honestly, fine. I'm fine with most of that because so far the only game I played that uses a single Joy-Con is Super Mario Party, which I like, but Joy-Con is so tiny. It's very, very small. Like I'm okay with not having to do that anymore.
It is weird. It's very weird 2 years in to think about like everything that made the Switch their advertising is now dead.
They cut it out, right?
Yeah. Like, plug it in
that's
the
the part
TV.
to me that is
Take
crazy.
the Joy-Cons off. Like all that stuff is gone with this.
You can have your rooftop Switch party with your friends all sitting around. Have like 8 Joy-Cons while you're playing
your
2
hipster
games
cafe
or whatever.
can have Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, your cidery cafe can have Switches. And anyway, okay. Well, now I'm back. I don't like it anymore because it's going to damage my Switch that I own. That's better than this. We'll see. Unlikely to really affect development, I would think, at this point, especially if behind the scenes there's another Switch coming that's better. Which it sounds like there is.
Yep. Yeah, that 2.0 is still rumored to be coming sometime next year.
Okay. You guys want to talk about some Mario since we're talking about Nintendo?
I like Mario.
Okay, it's not on the Switch though.
Do you have a fever, Andy?
Yeah, and
is it a chill?
According to this picture, Mario's idea is to give me a suppository.
Oh no!
I'm back out. I'm leaving. I don't like Mario.
Look at the app logo. That pill is literally, and I mean the word literally, the size of his head. So where is he going to put that pill? We're talking about Dr. Mario World, by the way, in case. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Mario World is a new mobile game from Nintendo and Line. The people that make the thing with stickers and chats.
The app Line.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. They made an app that seems to me to use the same art assets from Mario Run. In a weird way. Like all the overworld stuff looks like it's all the same art assets. How much do you want to hear about this game? Because I could tell you a lot.
Is playing the part where you play Dr. Mario good?
Yes.
I like playing original Dr. Mario.
Nope.
Is this like that?
No.
Okay. Now I'm a lot less interested.
Okay. In this version of Dr. Mario, the pills do not fall from the sky. Everything floats up from the bottom. And you kind of control, initially at least, you control how the pills come up from the bottom to try and take out the viruses. So
are the viruses pushing down from the top also?
The viruses are, well, initially no, but yes, the viruses can be pushed down from the top towards the bottom. So it's kind of reversed in a way that makes it easier for
Tetris.
Yeah, it's reverse Tetris in a way that's like a lot easier for mobile because you can pre-spin the pieces.
Okay.
You grab,
because your hands are down at the bottom.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not that mad about that part.
Yeah, so your since your thumb is down near the bottom, they made it. That's where the capsules come from. Let's back up. It's a Dr. Mario World game, so there's an overworld initially, right? It reminds me of like a lot of other free-to-play games, including Nintendo's Pokemon free-to-play game that they did on the DS, where you just move stage to stage, and literally it's just puzzle after puzzle, basically. It moves it from being Tetris, I guess, into being more like a puzzle game, the way that this is played. Because as they teach you, I'm about 50 levels into this, so there's a lot to say.
I have heard it referred to as Candy Crush-like.
Candy Crush-esque. Yeah, sure.
Okay, continue.
Candy Crush-esque, and I'll get to why esque in a minute, because they've done the Nintendo thing already, which is, we made a free-to-play game that we don't like that's that free-to-play, and so they've already backed off of it a lot. So you do the overworld. The overworld has levels. You can 0 to 3 star the levels, right? Playing the game. You can spin the pieces before they go onto the map. It's match 3 or more, just like Dr. Mario. But when you pop the things, you can grab the extra colors of the capsule. So, like, let's say you have 3 blues, right? You match a blue, like you have a capsule that's red and blue. You match the blues, so your capsules, the viruses pop, and your red capsule starts to float again like it normally would in Tetris. You can grab that capsule and drag it anywhere else in the puzzle.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Including past other viruses, like it won't get stuck if there's room for it to go.
Oh.
Huh.
As long as there's an empty space for it to go to. So, if you imagine a square of viruses, 3 on the side, 1 in the middle, and then an empty space in the middle, right? And they're all red, and you've popped those blue viruses somewhere else, you can drag that red one right in the middle of that square, and it will pop the T. And then you'll still have 4 corner viruses left, right? Does that make sense?
Huh.
That's a weird mechanic change.
Yes. Very strange.
But that's what I mean when I say it's not Candy Crush, it's a puzzle game.
Right. I mean, Dr. Mario was like Tetris essentially, but
yes, it was puzzle
weird.
Tetris. Yeah.
Puzzle Tetris.
This is still puzzle Tetris in reverse, but you can do weird things like, well, I don't need this piece yet, this capsule yet, but I can't save it. So I put it at the very bottom, and it starts to very slowly float up towards the top. And then I grab the next capsule, which I can see in advance, move that ahead of this one, put it in this place so that when this hits there, it pops. I grab the 2 floating capsules and move them to other places in the puzzle, etc.
Does this require you to plan your moves a bunch in advance?
Sure does.
God, I'm so bad at that in Tetris.
Sure does.
Not
because
for me.
Sure does, because later in the game, you add bubble viruses, and so like if you pop whatever's above them, they float to the top. But you can use that to your advantage, because then you can use them to float past certain things and into your capsule that you moved in the way. So as a person that loves, we've been doing a lot of like pixel puzzle adventure on this. If you're a puzzle gamer, you actually might like this game quite a bit. You can get into the fact that it has like hearts, and you need hearts to play levels. Oh no, the hearts don't refill for half an hour. But if you beat a level, you get a heart back. So, okay.
Well, what if I'm bad, though? Because clearly I'm going to be bad at this.
So I do have that problem. They have what they call challenge levels, which are the same thing that I just described, but timed. And timed versions of this game are pretty hard. You kind of just fling the things as fast as you can, and you still run out of time. And those I've lost 5 hearts on. And frankly, 5 tries in, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, I'm not coming back for half an hour anyway.
Sure.
It's your own personal cooldown time.
Sure. They tried to do, at the beginning of this, they had the exact thing from Candy Crush. Like, if you play 5 levels, you'll get to a bonus box, and that bonus box will have the free currency in it if you hurry, because that bonus box goes away in 8 hours. That lasted exactly 1 day. That was in the pre-launch, the soft launch version of the game. And when they announced the actual release of the game the next day, those bonus boxes had changed from 8 hours to 126 hours.
Okay.
That was Nintendo being like, nah, this is too Candy Crush. This is,
But you still can go in and buy more hearts and more energy and more coins.
But look, you can still go in and buy the thing that breaks blocks for you so that you can, change things into bombs for you, all sorts of stuff. I haven't used a single one of them. I haven't run into a time that I've needed more hearts. I haven't.
But that's always the thing in the beginning of these games, though, right?
I'm pretty far into this game.
You don't need that stuff until you get to level 1000 or whatever.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden it's like impossible.
I have wondered about the challenge levels needing them. You know what I mean? There is a versus mode in this game too, which is...
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, this is where the game starts to get bad in terms of...
I'm already bad at Tetris 99. You can't make me do this.
Let me tell you something bad about this. Characters in this game have powers.
Mm-hmm.
And the powers go to verses, and some of them are just better than the others.
Oh, boy.
So you need to get those ones that do the things, and you gotta pay the diamonds that cost real money or whatever. Anyway,
Andrew,
not a good
how
part.
do you acquire the characters?
You could pay 4,000 of the free money. So I've gotten 2 characters for free, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So in 50 levels of playing the game, which took me probably like 2. If I was in it for like 2 hours solid, I got 2 characters worth of money.
But that money is spent on a blind box.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a large blind box.
Oh, boy.
Once you hit 3 times of getting the same character, you can't get that character anymore in the blind box.
But in the meantime, those other 2 were wasted?
No, they upgrade the versus power.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something at least, I guess.
Yeah, not great.
Still not great.
Yeah, not great.
Bummer.
I think that it will have a large following at the beginning, just like last time with Super Mario Run, actually. And then when it gets to the thousands of levels and you need the items, it will have a huge falling off. But they've already Nintendo'd it up, and it's not super free to play in terms of like forcing you to do anything. I didn't even log in the last 3 days, and I haven't missed anything, right? Except for they have 5 dailies that you can do, but the dailies only reset when you do them. So it's not like you have to got to be on every 12 a.m. to get my dailies or whatever,
Sure.
That's nice.
Yeah.
They give you free items for playing versus, which are also blind box, but at least they're giving you free items for playing versus. It's kind of, it's okay. The puzzle part of it's good. If it wasn't a free-to-play game and they released it as a puzzle thing, even with the reverse of it, not being Dr. Mario, but putting it on your phone or whatever, I think it would be pretty popular. It's just a puzzle game.
Yeah,
so,
the puzzle part of it sounds interesting, but some of those other things sound extremely not.
You cannot convince me that in Versus I have not been playing against bots because the rubber banding is ridiculous.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's classic Nintendo, though.
Yeah. It's like, Japanese characters, it's a bot.
The guy's losing, gotta give him a huge bonus so that he catches up.
It's 1 a.m. in Japan. I really doubt, you know what I mean? Like the matchmaking is putting me up against a person from Japan. So, there you go. That's Dr. Mario. I dig it in the way that like I'll stop playing it in like 3 weeks.
I was gonna say, I guess, and then at that point, for the cost of no dollars, you got a pretty good deal.
So like if I put 20 hours into it and get to the point that like, I actually have to use the free block breaker I have to get 3 stars on this level, that's when I'm out. Like once I can't, I've puzzled a way to get to 3 stars on every single level all the way through 50 without using any paid anything ever. Playing at my own pace, not encumbered by the game or its free-to-play stuff. When that starts to happen, I'll be done. Like, it was a good puzzle game. See you later. And that's, I think, all you can really ask for in this instance.
As long as you feel that letting Nintendo have all your data is worth it.
Yep. Or line in this case, I guess.
Line, yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap it up for the day, you want to talk about a good doggo? I feel like JJ, you have a lot to say about the Picard poster. And I know I want to save it for our Star Trek podcast, but it's too timely.
Nah, it's okay. It's all right.
I have to do it now.
Sure, yeah. Look, no one has a problem with a dog. Dogs are great. People can pet them. Everyone likes petting dogs. Great. In a TV show, I don't watch a TV show to watch someone pet a dog.
Yeah,
I watch it to have characters talk at me or for stories to happen or whatever. Unless the dog is like his therapy dog or integral in some way to the plot, the dog is essentially there to cover up the fact that other parts of the show aren't good, and that worries me a lot.
Picard might be an alien dog. You never know.
Hey, if it's an alien dog and it can talk and there's a whole bunch of stuff with it,
oh
then
my god, if the dog
comment.
can talk. If the dog can talk.
Poochie died on another planet.
Oh my god. What if the dog is Riker?
I'm in.
What if
But it won't be.
Oh my god. What if he calls the dog number 1?
That actually would be an extremely savvy move for them, but I don't know that they would do it.
If he calls the dog number 1, will you take it back?
No.
Okay. I think that there are multiple ways that the dog could be interesting.
And I agree. I'm not going to say that it only can be bad. There are ways it could be good. I am just concerned that it will not be.
All right. I actually kind of like the poster. I think the weird solar flare into your eyeballs is weird, but there's a vineyard there, so something's going on. There's a lot in this that I want to see. I want to see him travel the universe with an alien talking dog. I want to see him only be making wine for a whole season. I want to see, the trailer had the one thing I don't want to see, which is boring in a room talking about why you left Starfleet. I don't care. Move on and show me what Picard's doing. And if that's walking through vineyards with a talking dog he calls number 1, then that's what I want.
I want that to be something good, but I just don't trust these showrunners to make that show.
Oh boy.
We'll know more soon, I suspect.
We will.
Yep.
We will. Speaking of which, if you go to our YouTube or our website or anywhere you can find podcasts, there's a Star Trek podcast. It released
Friday?
Almost. Yeah. The Friday before you hear this. So 5 days ago. You should go find it. It's, if you've watched Discovery, you should go find it. If you haven't watched Discovery, JJ, should they watch Discovery?
It's pretty good so far. I don't know. I haven't seen every episode, so I can't. Maybe the ending isn't great, but I don't know. Who knows?
We're in it a little bit.
We're enjoying it.
We're in it a little bit, and you can come enjoy it with us in the Shroom Chamber.
The Shroom Chamber.
If you want to listen to that, also we'll be doing a podcast on Comic-Con, so stay tuned for that. If you have any thoughts on Comic-Con or you want to email us while we're there, we'll check it one time maybe, and maybe we'll answer your question live at Comic-Con if you email us at where?
Podcast at wewergamers.com.
Or tweet us or Instagram us.
Yeah, at wewergamers. We will check maybe all of those social medias before we record.
All right. In the meantime, Excelsior.
I'm going to go line up for a minifig.
Smart.
It's going to get out now. You're savvy. Bring a tent. I have a tent. You can borrow it.
Maybe there's probably already people in line for Hall H, so.
Can you line up for Barb now?
No, because it's not the first day. You'd get displaced by the lines for
Could I line up
Spider-Man
next to the line for Barb now?
Maybe. It's outside.
Certainly no one would stop you. I mean, I know people who are lining up for Hall H on Saturday on Thursday.
No. I thought they fixed this with the armbands.
The armbands do solve that problem, but there are unofficial lines.
You got to line up for the armbands, right?
Yes, exactly. And there are unofficial lines for the further days that start early, and and all of these people are all part of mega groups or whatever.
I'm banging my head into my microphone.
Where they're staying for, each of them have a slot of 4 hours or whatever, and they stay for those 4 hours, and then all 60 people come together on Saturday to all get the armbands or whatever.
Now I remember why I get drunk before getting to the con floor.